Okay, we're live. It's nice to see you today. Um, I'm James, and you'll hear or see Seamus probably because he's a cat and has to be in all camera related stuff. And we're hold on one sec. Oh, I gotta do a quick. Okay, so what's going on today is really pretty insane. With the U.S. putting children in cages in Walmarts and stuff, refugees, people who are leaving a really horrible place, and we're putting them in cages. We're ripping family kids out of, literally tearing kids from families' arms, from their mother's arms. Yesterday, when was breastfeeding in one of the centers, they came and took the baby away from her. She'll never see that kid again. She's not sure if she will or not. Odds are she won't because of how the rest of this program's gone. But this is really awful. This is like humanitarian. The rest of the countries in the world looking at us like criminals level stuff. It tears you apart, right? It just tears you up to think of them, to think of this. They're putting kids in camps without access to parents. Unchallenged. Nobody's stopping. They're doing the stuff they're doing is with impunity. There's there's no bad results for anything they do. So it's all in impunity. So they can keep on going. And it's going to get worse and worse. Right now, they're taking refugees' children out of their arms and they're putting them in cages in old Walmarts. In the last quarter or something, they had 7,000 kids. They lost 1,500 of them. They gave them away to people that, as far as I know, were sex traffickers, and human trafficking people. Some literally, that's the thing. That's the worst case scenario. But it's happened, and nobody's saying every single congressperson. I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you're independent or you never even heard of politics. You should be standing and shouting from the rooftops about what's going on here. This is authoritarianism, tearing families apart, calling families that now the president's dehumanizing these people, calling them animals. Refugees, the illegal refugees are animals. You know who did that? Hitler did that. He called the Jews animals. Stalin did it. All the strong men do. They dehumanize. This is after they start, confusing what's true and what's not with the whole thing that's been going on already. But this dehumanizing, associating people of color with the MS-13. Well, let me tell you something. MS-13 is a Los Angeles gang. It's not a Mexican gang. It is all over, and it's a mess. He's deported lots of them. Yes. But it has nothing to do with people coming from Guatemala, because every woman in their village that hasn't escaped has been, raped and killed. They used to, this stuff happens, right? Obama was not doing the greatest thing either, but he wasn't separating families, and he wasn't hiding it. You can find photos from 2014 with kids in detention centers. You can't find them without their parents, and you can't find them, without 18 months old. For God's sake, that's a year and a half. Kids showing up in court with no representation, without any parents. How's that okay? This is what authoritarians do. They rip families apart. They put people in cages. They dehumanize them. Whether you're an immigrant or an asylum seeker, and they're two different things. Asylum seekers are not treated the same as immigrants in the United States. That's not how it works. That's how they're turning it into. Now, the thing that this government's got with this kleptocracy going on, that is like the strong man at the top that's doing all kinds of business with relatives and buddies, and that's where all the money and all the power is being shifted around. That's a catastrophe. And if they have their children in the middle of it too. But this is kind of going on to like sadism, like some kind of a, who tears babies away from their families and puts them in cages and then loses them? The United States does that too. What other countries do you think are all cool with that? None, because it's against all the conventions that we've ever signed or been a party to. It's unconscionable. It's just not. This just isn't what America is, especially to asylum seekers. Now they're trying to confuse things by saying, "Oh well, people come in between the checkpoints," and no, we're talking about people that come in to the checkpoints and turn themselves in for asylum. It's easy to see it coming. It's easy to see it coming, but nobody will. It's like it's so brazen and awful that normal people like us can't like admit to ourselves that this is what's happening. But it's happening. They're taking kids away, marking them with a yellow marker and ripping for their families. They're taking kids from families that are in the detention centers with the families, and they're taking kids and saying they're going to go wash them, they're going to shower them, and the parents never see the kids again. That's what the most authoritarian regimes. Sending people to showers. That was the Nazis did that. They sent you to the gas chambers. Okay. Now it's nuts. I mean, you can see this coming. But there's nobody. And here's what happens when I talk to people that are like normal thinking people like me. They're like, oh yeah, it can't be that bad. If it was that bad, the Democrats would do something about it. Well, the Democrats can't do anything about it. The Democrats can't do jack. Because the way the rules work, and I'm just saying how the rules work. I'm not saying that Cat gets really mad when I talk to other people. He's really jealous of that happening. This is like stuff to keep you awake at night, The main thing is, where are the senators? Where are the the representatives? Where's Lindsey Graham? Where's John McCain? Where's any of them? Where's any of them? Who could stand by when we're sticking kids in cages that we ripped apart from their families and then sent away? Who's okay with that? Why don't we hear anybody? And I'm not just talking about Republican Congress people, Democratic too. They should be. No one should be, and the press, the mainstream media, and Fox, all should be talking about this. They should be outraged by this. And then you'll hear people confusing the truth with alternative facts, or whatever the hell they want to call them. And that's part of the whole regime thing that's going on. And you're a kid. You're 2 years old, you're 5 years old, you're 7 years old, and your mother drags you from wherever and brings you to a place called sanctuary. That's not just a U.S. thing, by the way. It's been churches all over the world since like the Spanish Inquisition or something. Sanctuary means that they apply for because they're specifically going to be killed or hurt or maimed. Blah, blah, blah. There's half a dozen rules that come up with this. But silence from the senators, silence from Congress. Silent, the press. Not this should be the only thing we're talking about. Thanks for watching. I really encourage you looking up this stuff. They should fix it right now. Right now, one congressman. I don't care. Just needs to step up and say this is wrong. This is wrong. You can't take kids away and stuck them in cages in a Walmart and then lose them. Trump is a strong man. He's an authoritarian, and our government is set up in 3 different sections. You've heard this before. We have the executive branch where the president is, and we got the executive branch over here where they make the rules, and they're checks and balances on each other. They're not supporting each other. They're not the president's insane, who knows what, megalomaniac baby person. And that just leads to it's the confusing. It's the confusing of everything that's really horrifying. Because that's all they've done so far is put these kids in cages. So far. Right? Is that where it starts? No, it starts in separating families at all. It starts in pretending like sanctuary doesn't exist and refugees don't exist and everybody is just a criminal. And if a parent brings their kid to get away from the massive gang violence after they had to watch their husband dig his own grave and get killed and thrown in it, they're treated the same as anyone else. Not only are they treated like someone who's crossing the border, jumping a fence in the middle of nowhere, who maybe is running drugs or whatever, I don't know. That's not what this is. That's what this is. This is sanctuary. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. Look up stuff yourself, folks. Pay attention. You up to think of them, to think of this. They're putting kids in camps without access to parents, unchallenged. Nobody's stopping. They're doing this stuff they're doing is with impunity. There's there's no bad results for anything they do. Because I was I was pretty sure Clinton was going to win, and things were going pretty well. Otherwise, in my life here in Orange County, but it's not. But she didn't. She ghosted us. Basically, she just ghosted us the next day, and we've never heard anything from her. She won't come. She won't hold town hall. She didn't come to our town hall. It's it's pretty upsetting. What's really upsetting are the things individually that she does or does not do. Right now, there are people, the Immigration and Customs, ICE, and Border Patrol are taking families that are coming over as refugees. They're looking for asylum. Now, everybody knows what asylum is, right? It's when you're being persecuted or might die or some government might do something to you. And so another government or a church or whatever has asylum, and the person can stay with them. That's where Julian Assange has been for the last couple of years. Is in asylum inside the Ecuadorian consulate in London somewhere. He's